E. Martin in the house. I'm with my 3 of my 4 crazy daughters. There's Shy. Say hey, what's up, Shy? All right, Jasmine. What up, baby girl? And Z Low in his house. All right, so I'm turning it, and this is their dad. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but anyway, we are at the Cheesecake Factory, putting it in, and I don't get to hang out with these sisters too often because they all grown now, and they don't like hanging out with me like they did when they was little.
That is not the
So
that is not the reason.
That's not the reason.
Do not be lying to the internet like that.
Y'all ain't grown.
Well, we
Not
are
true.
grown, but not too
Y'all-
grown for you.
Not too grown for your dad. All right, well, that makes me feel better. All right, we gonna put it away though, ladies? We gonna put it in? All right. I love you all, and I just wanted to holler at you. Peace. Millennials and Gen Z. What's happening? What's going on with you? What's good? Welcome back, Millennials and Gen Z, to another live stream. Sharing my wisdom sharing my wisdom podcast. Sharing my wisdom podcast with Uncle E. I welcome you all, Millennials and Gen Z. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope God is blessing you. If you're living and you're breathing the air, you're blessed. All right, Millennials and Gen Z, we're back for another live stream with Uncle E. I am 59 years of age. I am the girl dad of 4 adult amazing daughters. 36, 30, 27, and 24. They are my world. They are amazing women, and I am forever blessed and grateful. So, got another good live stream for you today, Millennials and Gen Z. We're going to be discussing living within your means. And I think it's a pretty good topic to explore, to talk about. I'm going to give you my wisdom on it. And, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to explore, give you a different perspective, give you hopefully a different understanding from my wisdom. I'm 59 years of age. I'll be 60 in 2025. So I've lived a long and fruitful life. God has blessed me my entire life. And at this point in my transition, I just want to share my wisdom with you, Millennials and Gen Z. So, mis amigos and amigas, bienvenidos aquí. ¿Cómo te sientes hoy? ¿Qué pasó? Gracias. All right, my Spanish speakers, you are also welcome. Okay. So, before we get started, I just want to thank you for being present if you are present and being available. And feel free to subscribe, like, share with Uncle E. Sharing my wisdom podcast with Uncle E, okay? You're always welcome, Millennials and Gen Z. I live stream once a week. And this is my commitment to Millennials and Gen Z because I feel that a lot of the elders need to step up and step into the lives of Millennials and Gen Z, helping them understand why they may be going through things, why life may seem unfair, why it may seem like things are never going to get better for you, but that's a lie. You can't fall into that trap. So I think a lot of the elders need to step up and step in. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. Every week I go into my Sharing My Wisdom podcast with Uncle E, my YouTube channel. Let me take you there real quick. Okay, Millennials and Gen Z. This is Sharing My Wisdom podcast with Uncle E, my YouTube channel. I've written 22 ebooks, and I want to share them with you. You can check them out for yourself. This is my about on my about me on my YouTube channel. And when you see the links here, if you go all the way down to Share My Wisdom podcast ebooks, click on it. Okay, let me make sure I'm there. Okay, we are there. These are my ebooks, Millennials and Gen Z. I've written 23. I sell each of my ebooks for $7, with the exception of my Daddy's Girls, A Father's How To, and Building Lifelong Relationships with our daughters. That is a $15 ebook. It is actually a self-published book that I have self-published at Amazon for fathers of daughters on my other YouTube channel, Girl Dad YouTube channel. So here are my ebooks, Millennials and Gen Z. I'll just take you through them real quick. Let me just click on this one right here. And one of my ebooks, Skill Set Controlling Your Economics. That's me, Uncle E, sharing my wisdom podcast. And that's one of the 22 ebooks, 23 actually. And like I said, I sell each of them for $7 a piece, or you could purchase all 22 for $100. Okay? And this is them. These are my ebooks. So I'm just sharing them with you, millennials. So that way you can see that a brother got it going on. I'm legit. I've lived a very blessed life. I've lived a very consistent life, and God has been good to me. So I'm giving back now to millennials and Gen Z. Okay, so these are my ebooks. So feel free, if you're moved, to purchase my ebooks. They're available to you, okay? All right, let me get out of this. Okay. So millennials and Gen Z, I've created I made not a YouTube, I made a video. I get a lot of my information that looks a little bit blurry. Let me make sure. Okay. Hopefully it's not being recorded blurry, but it looks blurry to me. I apologize. My webcam appears to be blurry. So hopefully this live stream is going to come out well. I can only, I'll be able to tell once the live stream is done, but it appears to be blurry and I can't. It's an autofocus. So hopefully it'll come out well. But if not, you'll be able to hear my voice and you'll be able to see the video that I've made. I made this video, as I do all my videos, from TikTok. And the reason that I use TikTok is because you younger people have no problem sharing your lives on TikTok. And there's a wealth of information on TikTok for me as a researcher and when I'm doing my research for my podcast, for my live streams. And to me, TikTok is a library of education. So being my age, I'm on the front end of technology. I'm not a Gen Xer that is scared of technology. I'm not a Gen Xer that is fearful of diving into technology. I stay on the front end of technology as best I can. I want to be current. I need to be aware of what's going on and how things are going down. So that's what I do. As a Gen Xer, I want to make sure that I'm in tune with you millennials and Gen Z, and just being on your being on your same page, and just being able to communicate effectively with millennials and Gen Z. I'm not scared. All right. So I want to take a look at this video. It's about 30 minutes. I compiled from TikTok. And these young people are going to be talking about how they're living within their means. And then when we're done with the video, we'll come back. I have an article that I want to share with you from, I believe, Key Bank on 10 tips that they give on how to live within your means. So millennials and Gen Z, I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. And welcome to Sharing My Wisdom podcast with Uncle E. All right. Let me get this video set up for you. Okay, let me make sure it's good to go. It appears to be. Let's see. Yep. Okay, millennials and Gen Z. It's about 30 minutes long, okay? Living within your means.
So this is some advice that my dad gave me. Always live within your means. And
I actually have figured out that as life has gone on, it doesn't always mean financials. I think you need to live within your means financially, but I also think that you need to live within your means mentally and within your means with your time. So let's talk financials first. I have been told before it must be nice, and I just don't really like that phrase. I grew up in a double wide and I didn't think that there was anything wrong with it. I still don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I just grew up in the middle of nowhere and we had the essentials and I was happy. My family was happy. It wasn't until I went to college that I realized people put so much stock in material things. And the older I've gotten, the worse it's actually gotten. I'm sure that you guys see this all over this app, but I think people will actually go broke just to have things to show people. Now, if that makes you happy, you do you, boo. But don't complain if you don't have any money to go on vacation or to do the things that you love. So, the next thing I want to talk about is your time. I don't feel like any of us value our time enough. We don't have much time on this earth, and we need to stop giving it to everybody. So, you need to live within your means. What can you handle and what can you not? This takes discipline and bravery when telling people no. The last thing that I actually need to work on the most is my mental health. And you have to realize that you have to live within the means of your mental health. You have to ask yourself the question, are you doing this because everyone will think it's cool? Or are you doing it because it makes you happy? Or are you doing it just because you thought that's what you're supposed to do? After I had the boys, I kind of just felt like I had done everything that people tell you to do. And I was like, so this is it? Like, my life is over now? And you just got to figure out what deserves your mental space. And so I chose writing because I love writing. It makes me feel happy. I get to help people, I get to share my story. And I gave up my job at the brick and mortar so I could pursue things that made me feel joy. And if you're wondering if I did that puzzle more than once, I did because I've noticed that I have better talking videos whenever I'm doing something. But if you feel like you're stuck or you're just watching people on this app and you're wondering what the heck you're doing with your life, I want you to think of those three things. Are you living within your means? Financially, mentally, and with your time? If you've watched this long, please follow along, and my book will be out this fall.
You don't want to sleep in a home that you can't afford. It's super stressful. Now, the easy part is buying it. You can lever. Right now, mortgages are about 7 points. A lot of us in this room bought when interest rates were at 0. We were paying 3%. That's an asset today. You probably don't want to sell that house because then you get rid of that 3% interest rate. But the easy part is paying the mortgage. What's the difficult part for those of us who own homes? Is the maintenance. Because once you pay the mortgage, what else do you got to pay? You got to pay taxes every year. You got to pay insurance. What else? Utilities, repairs, furniture. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So just understand what you're getting yourself into. Just because you can, it doesn't mean you should. You guys understand what I mean by that? Just because you can pay for it doesn't mean you should. Just because you can buy a Rolex doesn't mean you should. Just because you can buy that Gucci bag doesn't mean you should.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this humbly in hopes that I inspire someone on this Tuesday morning. My biggest flex in life right now is that, baby, I work a corporate job, but I live in a $900 apartment in the city.
I found happiness in not living beyond my means. I'm not chasing myself. And I've realized that my friends will live a lifestyle or live a quality of life that they're not ready for. And it comes with so much anxiety because two things happen. One, you're chasing yourself to pay it off. And then two, it's like, oh my God, if this all leaves, maybe they won't love me or maybe they won't look at me the same. And it's like, if you live underneath your means, you're comfy, you're cozy because you're like, I'm here, I'm chilling. I could go up there, but I'm not. I'm good. I'm right here. And a lot of people would rather struggle behind scenes and make themselves look good in the public eye than just look normal.
It's called the 50-20-30 rule. 50% or less of your $1,000 that you make after taxes, so the money that actually hits your bank account, should go to your essentials. That's the roof over your head, electricity bill, grocery bill, and it's your transportation to and from work. You could live off that alone. 20% or more goes to the future. That's savings. That goes into your 401k. That goes into your emergency savings. 30% or less is your lifestyle, shopping, going out to eat, and that is living within your means.
I'm about to give y'all the importance on paying your bills on time. I am one of those people who have all my bills on auto pay. Every last one of my bills is on auto pay. And the reason why is I always tell people when I'm coaching them, listen, banks make more money off of overdraft bank accounts and bounce checks than anything. Y'all are giving banks free money, and that's your money that you worked hard for. So if you bounce a check and you get hit with one of those fees, or you overdraft every time you overdraft your account by charging and just letting it overdraft, for every charge you get hit with an overdraft fee. They make billions of dollars off of you all every time you do that. When it comes to credit card use, a lot of you all max out your credit cards. Or if they're not maxed out, you charge them up a lot and you don't pay them off by the end of the month, which is going to occur a huge interest rate. Most credit cards, you can get some credit cards with a very low interest rate depending on how good your credit is. But for the most part, a lot of people have pretty much either, regular credit or below average credit, and they get hit with them 20, 25%, 28% APR rate credit cards, which every time you charge, you get hit upside the head, and they bank on you not paying that bill in total at the end of every month, and they hit you with all those fees. There is fees associated with almost everything when you pay it late. Your gas bill, your electric bill, every bill that doesn't have a subscription to it, you're subject to get hit with a late fee if you don't pay it on time. Your rent, your mortgage, your car note, almost everything that has, somebody lent you some money or you pretty much need, there's going to be a late payment associated with it if you don't pay it on time. And that's how they are ripping a lot of people off. And that's not even to talk about. You can't, if we're in inflation, if you're, there's so much other stuff. If they trying to recoup costs and they now they're charging a little bit more. There's so much stuff that plays in it. That's why I'm always telling people to live on a budget. You have to know what's going in and what's coming out. What's going in and what's coming out. I pay attention to every last bill. I'm very punctual when it comes to paying bills and when it comes to structuring myself, budgeting myself, as far as the what goes on in my household and my businesses. Because I need to know, where every penny, where all my money is going. I need to know. So I'll be able to I'll call them up and say, hey, look, this is not right, yada, yada, yada. This is what I'm used to paying. So if you don't know what's going out, what you're paying, if you don't know, what you're used to paying, then people going to take advantage of you. That's the way business goes. They aim to take advantage. These people is not honorable. They in the business to make money. And unfortunately, ignorant people will give them all their money and they wonder why they always broke. Budget yourself. If you need help budgeting, you already know. Hit me up and I can get you on the right path.
Number one, you are to live below your means, but within your needs. Do you hear me, everybody? I don't care if you can afford a 3,000 square foot home, buy a 2,500 square foot home. Next, can you just get as much pleasure out of saving as you do spending? Can you just think about that? But the greatest tip I could ever give you is ask yourself this question. Is it a want or is it a need? Before you buy anything, ask that question. If it's a want, walk away. If it's a need, buy it.
Budgeting queen over here. I grew up on Big Lots and Dollar Tree and Aldi's. Any type of hygiene products like toilet paper, toothpaste adds up and people don't realize how much money they spend on it. So I'm gonna go to the Dollar Tree and show you all of the shit that I get and how much money I save at the end. And if you think this is gross, no one gives a fuck. Don't watch it. Go ahead and waste $8 on toothpaste. I always get like 10 of these. See, like I'm not paying $5 for that. Never pay more than $1 for spices. Okay, this is such a good price. I also need these for my move. These are like $10 at Target. Now, what the fuck? Okay, so it's really hard to find cheap toilet paper because everyone doesn't want to pay like $10. So these were like $1.25 a piece. Big reason that I go to the Dollar Tree is for razors and toothpaste just because it's so expensive at other places. These were $1.25 a piece and like this is literally name brand, like same fucking shit. Don't judge me. I like the kids' toothpaste, okay? It heals my inner child. I need something to fucking heal my inner child in this bitch. And then these razors, these are like dupe razors and they work really fucking good. And they're like literally $1 a piece. So I got 3 of them. Drink packets from the Dollar Tree because these can be kind of expensive other places. And the Dollar Tree literally has all the flavors. And if you go to like a bougier Dollar Tree, they'll have like name brand snacks. So I got these. I'm moving soon and I didn't want to pay like $20, $30 for those like plastic container, like the plastic bags that you like vacuum seal to make it like small. All of that was literally like $18. And so I'm just trying to like make you guys realize, I know it sounds like fucking common sense, but everyone wants to be bougie. Just go to places like this.
Today was a really chill day, but let's go ahead and track these expenses and see how much did I spend in a day living in Atlanta on a budget. Now, y'all already know I reset for the week and I start off by filling up my gas tank. Now, what I noticed about my budget in my budget notebook is that I was budgeting at $50 a week because I had already completed this budget back in December. Now, for the month of March, I'm so happy that I did raise the budget to $60 a week because the price of gas is just steadily going up. Last week, it was just like $3.09, then it went up to $3.19. And today it was $3.35 per gallon. This fill up actually cost me $49.15. So I still stay below the $50 and a $60 a week budget. So I'm good on that. But when it comes to this Walmart budget, it seems like I've been in Walmart every single Sunday. And the reason why is because I didn't go in here with my list. I didn't even go in here with my list. I was picking up things that I did not need and forgetting the things that I did need. I went in here for some personal items and I ended up spending $82. But if you need a way to get organized with your finances, get this workbook.
I am so tired of living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments. And a lot of the time, they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, you shouldn't have chose that job. Somebody has to do it. And you know damn well, if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right? Something has to give. I cannot keep doing this.
I saved almost $50,000 so far this year living a frugal and minimal lifestyle. It's easier than you think, so let me show you exactly what I did. I don't have a car payment because the car I bought a few years ago was within my budget. I paid cash for it. It's cheap to insure. Large car payments will get in your way of saving money every month. I cook every single meal at home, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not only is this much healthier, but it saves so much money every month because we all know going out to eat has gotten so expensive at this point. I keep my electric bill low by unplugging things I'm not using. Yes, I do unplug my fridge if I'm gone for a few days. I also don't run the heat or the AC, which obviously helps with keeping the bill low every month. I also have TV and cable or streaming services because it's so expensive. And honestly, life is so much better not rotting your brain watching TV. Okay, controversial, but I haven't had health insurance for like 5 years now. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just being honest with what I've done to save money. I don't go shopping. I don't constantly buy little sweet treats. Don't make impulse purchases from the shit I see on social media. I'm grateful for what I have, and if it still works, I'm not throwing it out. I'm able to have fun and socialize even living on a budget because it's all about having self-control, people. Typically only go out with cash, which helps me set a limit on my spending, and when it runs out, it runs out. I don't have any pets, even though I would love a Bernese Mountain Dog. Some of you could barely afford yourselves, and yet you get pets. I don't understand. Selfish and stupid. But I'm also a professional pet sitter, so I get my puppy love in other ways. Lastly, I live in a tiny 400 square foot outdated apartment, and I love it so much. It's $750 a month. Yes, twin size bed and all. And living here helps me save so much money, and I'm so grateful. And lastly, I work multiple jobs and have a few different income streams. Being able to increase my income in the past few years has obviously helped me save a lot more money. But let's not act like when I lived in New York City making $12 an hour, I wasn't able to save a little here and there too. That's basically how I did it. And if you think this is a sad lifestyle, well, me and my bank account don't give a shit.
Let's look at a budget for a family bringing home $6,400 each month. Here are a few details you need to know. They live in Thornton, Colorado. They currently have 3 children, ages 5, 3, and 1. She is pregnant with their 4th child, and their 3-year-old has leukemia and will be receiving chemo treatments for the next 2 years. He is a police officer, and she is a stay-at-home mom, and they also have some income coming in from a high-yield savings account. Their take-home pay is $6,400 each month. Their fixed expenses include a mortgage, tithing to their church, HOA dues, life insurance for her and him, internet, cell phones, streaming services, and car insurance, coming out to $4,272.25. Right now, their only debt is their mortgage. So everything you see here is actually savings. They have a lot of sinking funds that they are contributing to, including a vegetable CSA, meat CSA, car maintenance, home maintenance, Christmas and holidays, and birthdays, coming out to $513 a month in savings. Their variable expenses include electricity, water, and trash, gas for their cars, groceries, a milk delivery, which I think is fun, health supplements, personal spending, entertainment, household supplies, kids supplies, and a buffer, coming out to $1,614.75. Total number 1, 2, and 3 equals $6,400, making this a zero-based budget. In part 2, I want to take a deep dive into their savings. So be sure to look out for that video.
This is how my husband and I are able to raise our 5, almost 6 kids on only his income. Some of these tips you might not have heard of, so let's jump into it. I'm just going to list them in no particular order. First one being, we bought our house foreclosed, so our house payment is extremely low. We live far out in the country, and so our driving time to town is at least 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. But because I have 5 kids, I drive a car that's a little bit bigger and it takes more gas. And so I limit my driving time. I think a big one is we live in a cheaper state. We live in the state of Ohio. It is pretty cheap to live in Ohio compared to a lot of other states. Something that I do is I meal prep. I try to make a bunch of peanut butter and jellies and freeze them, sausage sandwiches, anything that I can freeze, I make and freeze ahead of time. That way my kids always have access to easy foods. And I feel like we're not wasting as much food when I'm able to meal prep. Speaking of food, we garden. So from May to October, I pretty much am able to produce all of my own produce. We have chickens that lay eggs, that provide eggs for us. So I'm not going out to the store and purchasing eggs. And as you've probably seen, eggs lately have been crazy high to buy, even here in Ohio. So I'm grateful for my chickens, and they're very easy to maintain. Thrifting is a big one in our household. I love to thrift. I love to buy secondhand, including any appliances that break. So instead of going out and buying something brand new, I will search and try to find something used. It doesn't mean we never buy anything new. We do. But if I can find it cheaper and it works for our family and for our kids, that's what I'm going to do. For that, if something breaks on our car or if we need the oil changed, my husband will try to learn how to do whatever it is that he needs to do, whether it's the car, appliances, etc., something in the house, the furnace, he will try to fix it. When I cook dinner, I try to stretch my meals. So something that would normally take 2 pounds of ground beef, I might be using a pound to a pound and a half. You don't have to have tons of meat in your food. I do use meat, of course, but it's more pricey and expensive. So I really try to stretch my meals. And if I have leftovers, I try to turn that into a completely different meal. I love to digital coupon. You will catch me at Dollar General or Walgreens every week. I cut all of my kids' hair. My husband cuts his own hair. That saves us so much money. But my oldest son, he does not like us cutting his hair, and I'm okay with that. I will allow him to go get his hair cut. He has a hair lady that he loves. He's 8 years old. He is old enough to say, hey, Mom, I don't like this, and I'm okay with that. Just remember to continue to go back to your budget, relook at it, see where you can cut things out, where you can make changes, because as I'm continuing to grow my family, we've had to make changes. So I think it's important to relook over that budget. Those are just some of the many things that we do. Hopefully that was a little bit helpful for you. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom or currently a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you just have to live off of one income because of certain circumstances, I hope you're able to find this helpful.
$3,000 a month mortgage feels like a lot to me.
Go and watch that creator's video and then come back and watch this. So this guy is walking through his neighborhood, a really nice neighborhood of houses about $400,000 to $600,000, and he's saying that he can't fathom how all of these houses, where he knows what the mortgage is, because hell, he's paying a damn mortgage, how these people were able to afford like new cars on top of daycare and on top of just like everyday expenses. And I see these same sentiments every single day in the comments of videos right here on this app. And I have thoughts. You can't wrap your head around how people are living the lifestyles that they're living and able to afford what they're able to afford because you are not in the proximity of prosperity. And I totally get it. Look, I'm from Texarkana. It's a small town in East Texas. It's like a blue collar factory type town. There are a few factory jobs there that pay $60,000, $80,000 a year. If you land one of those, like you made it. Like you made it. So when I moved to Dallas, Fort Worth, I met my husband. The goal in my brain was for my household income to be $100,000. Like that was making it to me in my brain. And when we met, we were making that. We were surpassing that. I was making about 65 grand a year. He was making about 90. So like, Mama, I made it. We bought a nice house. We had nice used luxury cars. I got my nails done whenever I wanted. Like life was good. All the bills were paid for. I never really had to worry about money. I thought I was at like the pinnacle of what life was supposed to be. And then I got into real estate and I got punched in the face. Getting into real estate changed everything for me, everything. My perspective on money, my perspective on life, my perspective on what success means, my perspective on the goals that I could actually achieve, like everything changed. And not even just from the income potential that I saw once I got into real estate, but more importantly, it came from my clients. When you're in real estate, you get to see behind the curtain of other people's finances because you have to know kind of how much money they're making and what their financial snapshot looks like when you're helping them buy a house. And you have to understand that at the time, my husband and I, while we were doing well, and we had a decent amount of savings, the most money we ever really saved up was like $15,000, maybe closer to 20. And I'll never forget the second client that I got was a 24-year-old girl, and she bought like a $250,000 house, and she put $120,000 down on it. And I was like, girl, where you get all this money from? It wasn't a gift. It wasn't that she had the lottery. She didn't come from a rich family. She had simply been working, living extremely frugally, and had made one smart investment and with her savings, and like it changed the entire trajectory of her life. Within the first 3 months of me getting into real estate, I made almost $50,000 when I was accustomed to bringing home only $3,100 to $3,200 a month. I started talking to other real estate professionals and realized that a lot of them were making $40,000 to $50,000 per month, not even like over a 3-month span. Then I started meeting loan officers. I saw how much money they were making. I started meeting people in construction and house flippers and real estate investors and people that own small bakeries and AV companies and digital marketing services and ad agencies. And like all of these people were doing all of these things and they were all making a shit ton of money. Like more money than I ever thought I would make in a year. They were making like in a month or in a week. Some of them like in a day. I started meeting people that were in tech that had just jobs, but they would have 2 full-time remote jobs where they're making $150,000, $175,000 on each job. One's daytime, one's nighttime. Like, it was crazy. Even now, my husband and I flip houses. We're flipping like 20 a year, and we have our own construction company. In the next 2 months, our billing on the construction side for the remodels that we're doing is $590,000. And here's the kicker to all of that. Most of these people that I know that are making this type of money live in regular neighborhoods. They're living in neighborhoods are 400, 500, 600, maybe $700,000 houses. These people are not living in like crazy mansions or anything like that. And that's because they want to have a nice house, but then they want to be able to afford a lot of the other luxuries. I say all of that to say that everyone is not living your experience in your circumstance. Like, there are a lot of people out here that are doing really well for a myriad of different reasons. But most people that are doing well understand that it's tone deaf to talk about it, so they're just quiet. And when I say doing well, it could be from a number of reasons, but the majority of them took some sort of risk. Oftentimes entrepreneurship, whether it's full-time or it's something on the side, they have a side hustle, they have a business, but most of them do not just have regular jobs. And that's why you can't wrap your head around it. Because as long as your mindset is that the majority of your income is going to come from a job, there's no way that a job's going to pay you $30,000 a month. So it doesn't even dawn on you that that's a possibility. And yeah, sure, some of these people are living above their means, they're in debt. But just as many of those, it's the same or more that are actually living within their means or below their means that are genuinely doing well. They're just doing so quietly. I really wish more people had the opportunity to be exposed to folks that are making obscene amounts of money. I'm in rooms with people that, make 7 figures every single month, 500,000 every single month. And this is what they're making, guys. I wish more people had that opportunity so that our minds could understand what the possibilities really are. I think what the better question to ask around this situation is not how are these people able to afford this, but it's how do we get more people exposed to and in the proximity of prosperity so that they understand that it's a true possibility for them too. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, Millennials and Gen Z. That was almost a 30-minute video on living within your means. Like I said, I appreciate TikTok and the library of education that is available to me. So I will continue to use TikTok as a resource of education to help inform Millennials and Gen Z. So what are your thoughts? Feel free to leave comments. And in January of 2025, I'll be changing my format. I want to do more of a, as I build my capacity organically, I want to be able to do more of my live streams. The good thing about my live streams, I don't edit anything. Once my live stream's done, I download it and then I re-upload it to a video on my YouTube channel with a different thumbnail. That's all I'm doing. So if I make mistakes in my live stream, that's just what it is, Millennials and Gen Z. I don't get to come back and edit, and hey, I'm not editing anything. So I've learned that. A lot of people edit their videos. I'm not editing anything. I'm doing a live stream, so you get what you get. Anyway, like I said, when I do my research, and TikTok is very educational and informative. So I will continue to use the resources that are available to me. Okay, I want to take a look at this article that I found, okay? It's from a bank. Let me see what bank it's from. So this particular article, it's from KeyBank. It was written in August of 2021. And it's 10 tips to help you live within your means. 2021. So it's about a little over three and a half years old, Millennials and Gen Z. Let's take a look at these tips. Let me read this real quick. If you spent more than you intended on holiday shopping or accidentally splurged while you were on vacation, it may be time to take another look at your budget. When you are overspending on a regular basis, taking time to sit down and focus on living within your means is important to manage your stress and set yourself up for financial success. Here are 10 helpful tips on how to live within your means. The first one is set a budget. Okay, this is a great article. So feel free. It's from KeyBank. All you got to do is Google it. I didn't put it in my description. I didn't put the link in there. But you're smart enough to figure this out, Millennials and Gen Z. Okay, so the first one is set a budget, right? Number 2 is track your spending. Number 3 is save before spending. And also, since this is a live stream, you could always pause the video as we're going through it if you don't want to look it up on the internet. So I get it. I understand. The fourth one is pay down debt. The fifth tip is pay with cash or debit. The sixth tip is plan large purchases to avoid impulse spending. The seventh tip is wait for sales. The eighth tip is ask for a lower price. The ninth tip is leave room in your budget for fun. And the 10th tip is make sure you have enough income. So just want to share that with you. That comes from KeyBank. And, there's so many articles that are out there talking about living within your means. So sharing my wisdom with you as far as living within my means. I had to raise 4 adult daughters. I was married. And, birth to 18 years of age, our income was family income, and my daughters will tell you they've never had to do without, their mother and father went to work every day. So I'm just under the understanding that when parents go to work every day, their kids should not have to struggle at all. As long as you're going to work every day, parents. And living within your means. And I've done that my entire life. I've never been a big spender. I'm a former United States Marine. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. And traveling the world really broadened my understanding of life, and saw a lot of poverty when I was traveling overseas, when I was in Asia, particularly in Asian countries. I saw a lot of poverty in the Philippines and Korea, Vietnam, Japan. Not so much in Japan, but Thailand and Indonesia. So all the countries I went to in Asia saw a lot of poverty. So it was so real to me. Made me more appreciative of being an American and how I was raised. So sharing my wisdom with you, I've always lived within my means, and it just comes down to time management and budget management. And what's your priorities is what it comes down to, Millennials and Gen Z. What is your priority? If you look at Instagram and TikTok, you're supposed to all be millionaires by now, right? Before you're 40. According to social media engineering and social media platforms. Don't fall for the trap, Millennials and Gen Z. Don't fall for the trap. Trying to hang out with the Joneses is going to keep you broke as hell. It just is. You don't need the newest car. You don't need the newest house. You need to live, sustain your life, sustain your lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with saving. And, this video was, I enjoyed putting it together because there's just so much information that's out there. And you don't have an excuse not to know why. You don't, Millennials and Gen Z. You have all this amazing technology before you. So I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to push you to make sure you do your own research, to read books. It's important to read. It's important to do your own research. It's important to come up with solutions, Millennials and Gen Z. So I don't have too much more to say about that other than, hey, living within your means requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. But more than anything else, it requires a vision. And you got to stick and stay on task when you create that vision, right? Adjustments are necessary. I talk about adjustments all the time. I've always had to make adjustments in my life. That's why God has blessed me. And I've had a very, very easy life. I've had a very, very blessed life. I don't take anything for granted. Never have, never will. And like I said, I have 4 amazing daughters. They are my world. I'm grateful. They're amazing women. They're all professional women doing their thing, living their best lives, and God bless them. So, all right, Millennials and Gen Z, it's another live stream. Appreciate you. I'm glad that you were able to participate today. And a live stream, like I said, once a week. This was a good one for me, and I'll be back next week for another live stream. All right. As we continue to grind and move forward. And like I said, I'm growing my YouTube channel organically. I'm blessed, loving it, and share my wisdom podcast with Uncle E. What else can I say? All right. Mis amigos and amigas. Hasta la próxima semana. Adios. Paz. This is Ephraim B. Martin. I'm 59 years of age. I am the father of 4 adult amazing daughters. Until next week, I'm out. I'll holler at you. God bless. Keep a brother in your daily prayers, as I will do the same. Peace.